Oh my God. Goodness gracious. Late again. This is like 4 days in a row of lateness. Ain't that great? Why not? Gratefully, thankfully, still we are here. Now listen, and everyone listen. And this is A Course in Miracles, of course, and we're right on course. And today's lesson is the 79th lesson, as it is the 79th day in our 2021 calendar year. And we're right on course. And this lesson, along with the next lesson, is quite a cool lesson. These two go together, tomorrow's and today's. Let me recognize the problem so that it can be solved. This is a very non-dualistic lesson, according to my friend Misha Lee, who I was talking to about it. And she was surprised the Course in Miracles is a non-dualistic thing. But it is non-dualistic. And, oh, hey, yeah, long time no see. So you can do your assignment later, I guess. Yeah. Right? Anyways, yeah. Okay, so anyways. Yeah, what's up? Okay, so Course in Miracles, of course, this is A Course in Miracles, and Course in Miracles doesn't ask us to believe these things. In fact, it tells us we'll probably actively resist it, but that if we listen in, if we hear, if we practice along with it, we will find that it has some effect in our life that we'll like. Also, this, if you're just, chiming in for the first time, this information is considered holographic, which means that if you pick up a piece of it, and today's a nice piece of it to pick up, if you pick up a piece of it, really, you pick up all of it according to what it says. It's uncompromising. You either pick up all of it, actually, or you pick up none of it, actually. So, but there is some sequentiality, and they do kind of, it will make sense in a way. Okay, so here we go. A problem cannot be solved if you do not know what it is. Let me recognize the problem so that it can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. Let you recognize the problem so it can be solved. A problem cannot be solved if you do not know what it is. Even if it is really solved already, you will still have the problem because you will not recognize that it has been solved. Even if it has been really already been solved, you'll still have the problem because you won't recognize that it has been solved if you don't know what the problem is. The Course is saying the problem's already been solved, is what it's saying there. But it's saying the reason that you think it hasn't been solved is because you're thinking it's something other than what it is. So this is the situation of the world. It's the problem of separation, which is really the only problem, and it has already been solved. Yet the solution is not recognized because the problem is not recognized. We think the problem is all these other things, these myriad of things. Problem is separation. The problem is we think we need to go outside ourselves to fix something out there. But the choice is the choice to feel, to go in and feel, to choose to feel at one with our source, with our center, with our creator. Okay, paragraph number 2. Everyone in this world seems to have his own specialized problems. Yet they are all the same, and must be recognized as one, if the one solution that solves them all is to be accepted. So we think everybody has their own specialized problems, but they're all the same. Every lesson is your lesson, or you could say every lesson is my lesson. And this is along with the idea that salvation is now. It's not ever in the future somehow. We think we see, that person's dealing with that, and we think we know what they're dealing with. If we think we know what they're dealing with, then the lesson is our lesson. Every lesson is, quote unquote, my lesson, or quote unquote, your lesson. Who can see that a problem has been solved if he thinks the problem is something else than what it is? Even if he is given the answer, he cannot see its relevance because he doesn't know it's actually the problem. That is the position in which you find yourself now. You have the answer, but you are still uncertain about what the problem is. A long series of different problems seems to confront you, and as one is settled, the next one and the next arise. A long series of problems seem to confront us, and as one is settled, the next one and the next one arise. There seems to be no end to them. There is no time in which you feel completely free of problems and at peace. Whew, goodness. Yeah, yawn. Okay, there is no time. There is no time. No time in which you seem to feel completely free of problems and at peace. Paragraph number 4. The temptation to regard problems as many is the temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. See, that actually makes some interesting logical sense. It's a cool sentence, eh? Yeah, Misha gave a heart there. Thank you, dear. The temptation to regard problems as many is the temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. Many would be separation, right? Such an interesting sentence. The world seems to be present with you. The world seems to present you with a vast number of problems, each requiring different answers. Man, y'all are good. Whew. This perception places you. I woke up really early, took my friends to the airport. Been pretty tired all day from that. Plus, I've been working out a little more than normal lately. Anyways, okay, this perception places you in a position in which your problem solving must be inadequate and failure is inevitable. The perception that the world is a vast number of problems, each requiring different answers, places you in a position in which your problem solving must be inadequate and failure would be inevitable. No one can solve all the problems the world appears to hold. They seem to be on so many levels in such varying forms and with such varied content that they confront you with an impossible situation. No one could solve all the problems the world appears to hold. They seem to be on so many levels in such varying forms with such varied content that they confront you with impossible situations. Dismay and depression are inevitable as you regard them. As you regard these problems. Some spring up unexpectedly, just as you think you have resolved the previous ones. Others remain unsolved under the cloud of denial and rise to haunt you from time to time, only to be hidden again, but still unsolved. It's painting not so pretty picture, hey? But maybe it's distinctly, actually how we see it, right? It does seem to be. So paragraph number 6. All this complexity is but a desperate attempt not to recognize, man, another one, eh? All this complexity is but a desperate attempt not to recognize the problem and therefore not to let it be resolved. This is the attempt to keep our identity as our small self. If you could recognize that your only problem is separation, no matter what form it takes, you could accept the answer because you would see its relevance. See, the course is uncompromising in its ways this way. Perceiving the underlying constancy in all the problems that seem to confront you, you would understand that you have the means to solve them all. If you could perceive the underlying constancy in all the problems that seem to confront you, you would understand you have the means to solve them all. The problem is separation. The means is the solution to that, which is that there is no separation. Nothing is separate from everything. Everything is all together, and nothing just isn't actually. Anyways, you would use the means because you recognize the problem. So the Course is trying to get us to look at the world uncompromisingly and to apply this solution to everything. Okay, so paragraph number 7. In our longest practice periods today, we will ask what the problem is and what is the answer to it. We will not assume that we already know, even though it just told us that the problem is quote-unquote separation. In words, in these longer practice periods, we're going to ask what the problem is and what the answer to it is, and we're going to try to assume that we don't know. And we'll try to free our minds of all the many different kinds of problems we think we have. We will try to realize that we have only one problem which we have failed to recognize. We're going to try to free our minds of all the many different kinds of problems we think we have. We'll try to recognize that we have only one problem, we'll try to realize we have only one problem, which we have failed to recognize. Anytime we think we have a problem, when we remember that it's actually one thing, it brings us back to our solution. We will ask what it is and wait for the answer. We will be told. Then we will ask for the solution to it, and we will be told. The exercise for today will be successful to the extent to which you do not insist on defining the problem. We're going to try to free our minds of what the Course is telling us even here. Perhaps we will not succeed in letting all our preconceived notions go, but that is not necessary. All that is necessary is to entertain some doubt about the reality of our version of what our problems are. We are trying to recognize that we have been given the answer by recognizing the problem. We're trying to recognize that we have been given the answer by recognizing the problem. The problem is the belief in separation, the belief in feeling disconnected from our source, the belief in believing the world of images and of forms that seem to tell us that we are separate, or that the story isn't going how it should, or something like that, instead of choosing to choose to let go of that, to forgive that meaning, to, as yesterday's lesson was, let miracles replace our grievances, or something like that. We are trying to recognize that we have been given the answer by recognizing the problem, so that the problem and the answer can be brought together and we can be at peace. So that the problem and the answer can be brought together and we can be at peace. The problem is separation, is the belief in separation. The answer is that is the problem. The belief in separation. If we bring those together, we can be at peace. The problem, tomorrow's, I wanted to give away, I'm trying to not give away the answer to tomorrow's. I feel like tomorrow's lesson is, the lesson, titled, Let Me Recognize My Problems Have Been Solved. That's the title of the lesson, and I feel like there's a great reveal for it, and I kind of want to, but I'm not gonna say it. Okay, paragraph number 9. The shorter practice periods for today will not be set by time, but by need. Often the Course has us say, if you every 4 times an hour remember this, or something like this. But this is just by need, it's suggesting. We will see many problems today, each one calling for an answer. Our efforts will be directed toward recognizing that there is only one problem and one answer. In this recognition, all problems are solved. In this recognition, there is peace. There is no separation. I keep wanting to reveal, but I'm not going to. Okay, paragraph number 10. Be not deceived by the form of problems today. Wherever any difficulty seems to rise, tell yourself quickly, let me recognize this problem so that it can be solved. Hey, the real problem here, darling, dearest friends? We're believing in separation. Yeah? But our minds and hearts are joined as one in reality. In the realm of minds and hearts. Goodness gracious. That's a funny thing. Oh my God. Okay. Then try to suspend all judgment. So whenever any difficulty seems to arise, tell yourself quickly, let me recognize this problem so that it can be solved. Then try to suspend all judgment. Then try to suspend all judgment about what the problem is. If possible, close your eyes for a moment and ask what it is. You will be heard and you will be answered. So if you notice a problem, let me recognize this problem so it can be solved. Then try to suspend all judgment about what the problem is. If possible, close your eyes for a moment and ask what it is. What is this problem? So the Course told us that in words it said the problem is separation. The problem of separation is the only problem, it says. But it wants us to experience something. So that's what these 2 10-minute in-depth meditations are for. And that's what these shorter practice periods set not by time but by need are for as well. And so as we feel triggered or something, we can experience by saying to ourselves, let us recognize this problem so that it can be solved. Close our eyes. The problem is the belief in separation, in damnation, in hell, in the story we tell about these things, about what this means about us, or something like that. And we try to suspend all judgment about what the problem is. If possible, we close our eyes and we ask, what is this problem really? Oh, this problem is just a belief in a story. When we ask these questions, we will be heard and we will be answered. I feel like that was a good demonstration of that actually just now. This story of hell that we tell, that we think we're stuck in, what some other person will make of us or something like that outside of us. Very interesting stuff. All right. Yeah, thanks for joining in, everyone. Make sure and do your assignments, your longer practice periods and your 2 shorter ones too. If you want to see, by the way, what the distinct, actual suggestions for practice are, you can type into, search this Circle of Atonement, and then the lesson number. So this is the 79th lesson, and that'll really kind of break down what the assignment is. And sometimes you'll have your own special assignments, that will be perhaps given to you in various ways. But there's a specific, distinct assignment for each practice. And if you go to Circle of Atonement and then type in 79, and it'll tell you those distinctions there. I'm going to do my second 10-minute meditation for today, and looking forward to it. Join in tomorrow if you want to. Okay? Ciao.